Yeah.
As a true Ohio State fan, and I gotta ask you this, and this is how I knew I was a Buckeye fan, dog. National championship or the last 3 games against Michigan?
Yeah, I take those last 3. Is your player bought in, or is your player worried about the publicity that they're getting?
Based on what?
Based on the fact that he has never had to work for it.
Welcome back to another episode of Critical Perspective. I got a special guest with me by the name of J.R. O'Neal. Say what's up to the people, J.R.
How you doing, everybody? Good to be here.
I appreciate you for coming on, bro. On this show, Critical Perspective, bro, we like to take a deep dive into, first and foremost, football. Seeing how we both football boys and we both Ohio boys.
OH.
You know what I'm saying? IO. But we come from a hell of a college town, bro. You know what I'm saying? And what do you think about the state of college football? Does it seem bigger than what it was when we were like growing up, or what do you think about it?
I think it does in a way. Like, you know, NIL has changes so much, and but I think now, like, I don't know if it's necessarily bigger, but a lot more intensity is in it now. There's a lot more competition in some ways. In other ways, there's a lot more, in my opinion, of a disadvantage. So, like, you have the playoff now. And then with that, you have a little more leniency during the season to lose a few games. But at the same time, like, conferences are getting stronger.
Yeah.
So it's kind of evening out a little bit. But I would say probably there's more intensity behind it, more hype for some people. And then for some sides of it, you have people don't like NIL, people don't like the way things are going. But I love it. I think, you know, athletes should get paid for what they do. And so I'm a big fan of where it's going.
I feel you. Me too, bro. I'm a big fan of where it's going. I think that one of the main things I see for Ohio State, bro, is just, it seems like they just get all the recruits. And of course, I don't think that's all from like college football hype. You know, Ohio State has been dominant, but I feel like they've had an opportunity to like kind of go in and capitalize on what NIL is becoming. You know what I'm saying? Like last year, they had a lot of players like not leave simply because they were, one, making so much money, you know what I mean, and they wanted to win that chip. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think about Ohio State, Ohio State's future?
I think it looks good with what we got.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, recruiting wise, Ryan Day is an amazing recruiter.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have talent for years to come. And I think we're cool there.
Amazing recruiter, bro.
Amazing recruiter. Yeah.
How so?
Oh man, dude, did you see our defense this year?
What about okay, but
like our defense came back, and not only was it just like he brought the boys in, but they were a family. They created that brotherhood. That's why they stayed. I know there was money and everything, but they stayed because they were hungry. They wanted that championship. They wanted that goal that we didn't necessarily get. But
what about a devil's advocate is gonna say, well, JR, like you're talking about this year, but what about the losses to Michigan? What about the previous years of, you know, getting there but not being able to capitalize when we were there? What about all of that?
That's going to come. Like, I'm hungry for it. I want it. We need to beat that team up north. But at the same time, like, I mean, looking at our just wide receivers alone, we got a future there. Like, we got Jet Henderson coming in.
As a true Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
As a true Ohio State fan, and I got to ask you this, and this is how I knew I was a Buckeye fan, dog. I'm saying
we could go 1-11 on the season as long as we win that last game.
How is he so like? Why are people? Because that's how I feel. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, he just got us to a national championship. But it's like losing to Michigan.
Yeah.
Something about it is like
it hurts.
Yeah, it's like gut wrenching.
That's the good and the bad though. Like you got to take what you can get, and we got a national championship out of it, which is fine. But I mean, you are right. Kind of like the inner fan in me is like, I want that game. I want, you know, the team up north more than anything.
Yeah.
But that's like national championship is fun. It's good. But you know that next November, like that's what we need to win. So,
regardless of the last couple seasons, it hasn't been horrible. And I think they looked at his record or something like that. He's like 72 and like 10 or something.
yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. So like the fact that Ohio State fans are even remotely unsatisfied, they're looking at us like we're ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what do you think about how he may or may not do here in the next 3 years? Because one could say everything that just happened was work from the last 3 years. But now he's rebuilding a whole different team. He's gonna have to get new guys. Jack Sawyer is not there. None of those players are there no more.
Yeah.
None of them.
I mean, obviously, it's going to tell on the field, but I feel like we have the pieces that we need, just like we did last year, just like we did last offseason, coming in. And, you know, we have some guys who are hungry, who have been there, who have done that.
Yeah.
Ryan Day, you know, he knows what we need to do as far as playoff-wise, and he's been there before. But, yeah, I would say, like, especially after winning a natty and, like, being fresh, the next step is that, you know, we got to beat Michigan. And I don't know if we.
So is it cool if we lose to Michigan and win another championship this year, or you think they'll fire him? I think they'll let him go, bro.
I don't think Ryan Day would get fired over that, but I don't think fans would be happy with him. But
I think that people have to remember. I think you're wrong. Number one, I think that with all the alumni. Think about how alumni-based Ohio State is. The Michigan and Ohio State rivalry is the biggest game of our existence.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you, especially as a fan, either Michigan or Ohio State, you grow up hating the other team and wanting that game more than anything. Like,
yeah, like
that sets your holiday season. Is that game? At least for me, it does. Like, it sets the tone for that.
You know what I just realized? We need to stop saying it. We saying it right now, the M word.
That's right.
We need to stop saying it. We need to stop saying it, bro. We need to stop saying it. Like, but yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know, JR. I just feel like Ryan Day is a great coach. I feel like he's a great coach, and I feel like he's one of those coaches that make you want to run through a brick wall for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have multiple NFL prospects on your staff to say, you know what, nah, this culture here means a little bit more than me going to the NFL at this very moment. That's big. And you have to look at it like that, because those players, bro, you don't think those players was getting calls? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're willing. I mean, they're staying, you know, in like a NIL based, a transfer portal based league. What we have now, they're staying. That means a lot. That speaks volumes for the coaching staff, not just Ryan Day, but like the entire staff. And I think being at Ohio State is a dream come true for a lot of athletes. And I think the culture is good there. So they have that down pat. They have, you know, great recruiting, not just on Ryan Day's part, but coaching staff wide. You know, recruits are seeing the culture that's being built. They're seeing everything that Ohio State football is. They want they're bought in on it. So you have everything put together. You've won a national championship. Now you just got to beat the team up north, and that's the big thing. But if it doesn't happen, I don't think Ryan will get fired.
Okay. All right, that's cool. Me and JR, we met at a work conference, and with the sports fans that we are, of course, we started to talk about Shedeur Sanders. We started to talk about Cam Ward. We started to talk about primetime Dion. And I was on the phone, bro. I was on the phone with my dog. And I was telling him, I'm like, damn, I'm sitting here talking to this dude named JR about Shedeur. And I'm like, I'm like, I hear what he's saying, and I'm like, what are you saying? It's like I have to listen to him because it kind of makes sense. My stance on Shedeur is I feel like Shedeur Sanders has changed programs. I feel like that's hard to do. What do you think? I guess my question is, what do you think about Shedeur Sanders as a football player?
As you say, Shedeur Sanders, he's a phenomenal athlete. I think as a player, he has a lot of developing to do. He has a lot of growing up to do. And honestly, I think he's in an amazing spot right now in Cleveland because here's the thing. He's always had his daddy to help him.
Okay.
Right? Like everywhere he's been, he's always had his daddy holding his hand. Now we're going to see the Shedeur Sanders without the Deion part. And we're going to see what he can do. So I think, honestly, if he's going to pan it out in the league at all, Cleveland's the best spot because he actually has to prove himself. He has to actually work for it this time instead of his dad just paving the way for him.
This is the part where me and JR had a really, really good conversation. So look, bro, when you say pave the way,
yeah.
Number one, it's not my fault. That's the same shit that they say about Bronny. It's not my fault that Deion is my daddy. Number one. Number one. Because a lot of it is nepotism, right? And I believe that that's okay. I believe that that's okay. You feel me? I believe that that's okay. Everybody does it, right? But where me and you disagree is I don't feel like you can pave. Football is a physical game. It's a will sport. If me and you right now got down in the 3-point stands right now, no matter if my dad was here, no matter if your dad was here, it would be me and you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and you're not the only person, but when I hear that perspective of Shedeur Sanders having the way paid for him, in what way? Publicity?
Absolutely. You know, if Shedeur Sanders, look at his numbers. All right, I didn't know we was talking about this, so I didn't bring it up. But
right.
Say I had his stats with me, and I compared him to another college football starting quarterback.
Okay.
Right, we're talking about like above average, but not average. We'll give him above average athlete.
Okay.
Right, he has great stats. He has all these different things that pop off the page
Sanders
at you.
Is above average.
Well, I wouldn't consider him an average quarterback. He has a legitimate shot in the league. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I don't think what he's done in college grants him what the publicity that he gets now. It's because of his name.
So you don't really have a problem with his game. You really just got a problem with the name.
I wouldn't say I have a problem with the name. I have a problem with everybody like just salivating over this dude for what?
So let me ask you, when we look at what happened in the NFL draft, right? Shedeur Sanders sliding all the way to what, the 6th or 5th?
It was a 5th round.
It was a 5th round. I think it was 141st pick or something like that. Not a sports analyst in the world had him sliding out of the 1st round. The people that me and you grew up listening to, the people that we've been watching every Saturday and Sunday for the last 15, 20 years, nobody had him going out of the 1st round. What do you think about that?
I think that there was a lot of people that were wrong, obviously. Shedeur Sanders, being an athlete is more than just having skill. It's about character. And I know this more than anybody as a Steelers fan. We have the most dramatic wide receivers in the entire league. And that's why we have such a big turnaround on them.
Yeah.
All right, so a locker room cancer is going to bring down your team, whether they're good or not. It all comes back to how you're okay with your players' personalities being.
And when we specified,
Deion gets to Colorado, he says what? Deion comes into Colorado, he's like, all right,
I'm bringing my luggage.
everybody else get out. We got them. We got our spots filled. All right, you might want to hit the portal.
So are you insinuating that you feel like, because my whole thing is I think that what you're saying, I don't think when you say that he hasn't had to prove it, you mean that he hasn't had to compete against any other quarterback to start. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that who knows? There could have been somebody better than him out there. He could have had somebody on Colorado's football team that was a better athlete or near the same statistically that he would have been. And because his name was Sanders, he was thrown up in that first spot.
You don't think the same thing will happen for Arch?
I think the same thing could have happened for Arch, but Arch went and he publicly said he talked to Steve Sarkisian and was like, listen, I want to earn my spot. Right? I want to earn it. I don't need to start. Steve Sarkisian could have easily, and he did basically, he said that, hey, Quinn Ewers, after this year, he better go to the draft. If not, Arch is our guy for next year. Quinn Ewers, he could have stuck around, right? He could have fought it out. He could have transferred out. He went to the league ultimately. But Sarkisian was like, listen, this is our guy. He's waited his turn. He's ready. Like, Arch could have came in and started immediately just because of his name alone. And nobody would have faulted Steve Sarkisian for it.
So what? That's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean. If that would have happened, nobody would have had a problem. So why is it such a problem for Deion to do it?
Because he hasn't done. What has he proven? Why is number 2 retired for Colorado right now? What did he do to get his number retired?
You asking some hard questions, bro. You asking some hard questions.
What did Shedeur do to get his number retired?
I think, this is what I think, bro. This is what I think. Because I want to answer your question. I think that Shedeur Sanders will be the greatest quarterback statistically in the next 5 years for Colorado. I don't think that there will be another quarterback. Like the guys that they brought in, they're not better than Shedeur.
See? I'm not saying you're right or wrong.
I could be wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying we'll see.
I'm just looking at it like, bro, I think that people fail to realize, and then they like to say, oh, well, he threw, bro, nobody, there wasn't Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel. What's the percentage of their passes that they complete? He has the second highest completion rating in FBS history. Not for a season, history. I don't think
I had to see those numbers. I don't
think that it was on the NFL Combine, bro. It's not a game. Shedeur Sanders was like that, but usually when I throw that stat out to people, oh, bro, well, he threw bubble routes and screens, bro. I watched every freaking game, bro. Every freaking game. It wasn't too many screens and bubble routes that they threw. Now, if you talk about 5 to 7 yard passes, okay, that's different. But that's not a screen and a bubble route. A 5 to 7 yard pass is still quick. You still have to be able to analyze the defense. You have to be exceptional at timing to throw short passes efficiently.
For sure.
So when I hear people say, oh, but they were short passes, it's just like, bro, when you go to a program like Jackson State and these teams are not winning before you get there, yes, it's an element of expertise and all of the things that Deion can bring in together to make sure that they're successful. I'm not denying that. Just like, for example, if I was the #1 sports podcaster in Ohio, there would be some things that I could freaking do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, bro, it's just like, that's what comes with being #1.
Well, I want to say, I didn't say Shedeur was bad.
No, but
I even said he was above average.
Yeah, but
so if you're an above average quarterback, you should be making a large impact at Jacksonville State when you go there, because you're an FCS school and you should be competing at a D1 school where you're FBS, you're ready to play with the big dogs, which he proved that.
Okay.
Right. He went in there, he changed the program, and other people did obviously too.
Okay.
Because let's not forget they had this guy named Travis Hunter who was on the team still, who went and won the Heisman.
And somebody got him the ball too.
That's a number that can be retired. I understand that, but again, what did Shedeur Sanders, when you're on a level playing field, right? Shedeur was in the big leagues. He was ready. He was on with everybody else in the Big 12. He's playing what made him stand out other than his name? His stats were not that historical to stand out. Anybody can go anywhere and make an impact. Will Howard went to Ohio State, took him to the national championship.
Listen, I don't think anybody cannot go anywhere and make an impact. And I'm a firm believer that Will Howard is going to be a good quarterback. He just has to find a good system. You feel me? I don't think there's not too many, like Will Howard is a dog. This last class of quarterbacks that came out are dogs. The last class before that,
we'll see how they pan out. We'll see.
Come on, what was the last class? You had who? J.J. McCarthy came out the year before last.
J.J. Drake May.
What's going on with Drake May?
He's good.
Is he?
Yeah.
For who?
For the Patriots.
The Patriots aren't good, bro.
Did you see his last game?
I don't care. I know their record.
But that's what I'm saying. Just because the team ain't good doesn't mean the quarterback's not good.
But
a quarterback don't make a team. Yeah, they command the offense, they lead the team, but they don't make the team.
But aren't you in agreement that you have to have a quarterback to even compete?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so a quarterback is the centerpiece. A quarterback can make or break your situation. If the Patriots had another quarterback in there, they would be more they'll have more of an opportunity to compete. If they had J.J. McCarthy instead of Drake May, people will be more inclined to go there.
Not last year.
Not last year.
J.J. was hurt last year. He was sitting on IR.
Hypothetically speaking.
I don't know about that. I mean, Drake plays, he's a baller.
Baller?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the future is bright for Drake, but that's a whole nother.
Okay. So just to wrap it all up, Shedeur Sanders is an above-average quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is in a great situation with Cleveland. You just feel like the publicity that Shedeur got wasn't because of his game.
Correct. I feel like if Shedeur Sanders is going to turn around, which I hope he does.
Right.
I hope he lives up to the hype that he's getting.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's no other fourth-round quarterback who has been this hyped up before. And I feel like the only reason it is because his name is Shedeur Sanders.
You don't think it's the fact that he was supposed to be a first-round pick and he slid to the 6th round?
Who says he's supposed to be a first-round pick? People who have opinions. But there's just as many people who have opinions saying that he shouldn't have been.
These aren't opinions. Like when the National NFL Combine drops a pre-list, or the NFL drops a pre-list.
You're telling me somebody who was that supposed to be there didn't get drafted for why? Why didn't he get drafted?
You really want me to answer that question?
Yeah, why didn't he get drafted?
I think if you asking me, bro, from the outside looking in, I think it was to send a message. I think now, because what I think happened is this. Shedeur and Deion open their mouth just a little too much. In a fashion, not that what they said was wrong, but what they did and what they had said I had never heard it before. And I think a lot of people had never heard it before. The first thing I heard about Deion saying, yo, I don't want Shedeur to go somewhere where it's cold. I was like, But then I seen news that he didn't say it. But then I seen a clip of him saying something very similar to that, right?
Yeah, he said it's going to be a Manning situation where he gets to determine where he goes.
So okay, so
What gives you the authority to say that? Unless your name is,
what you mean?
unless your name is Coach Prime.
Yeah, you can say that. I'm Coach Prime. What you mean?
Nah.
I'm a 2-star, bro.
Maybe that's why he fell.
Bro, Coach Prime is one of the greatest athletes to ever live, bro. There's not another person on this planet to play in a World Series and a Super Bowl.
So he can't determine where his kid goes.
Obviously not. So, but let me finish.
I got you.
What I think is that I think that people take confidence for something that it's not. If there was another group of podcasters in here, right, and they had cameras, and I know that I could do a better job with my phones simply because I'm more experienced. Some people think it's wrong for me to tell them that. Like, hey, just so you know, I want to let you know what we doing over here with these phones is going to be better than what y'all doing with y'all's cameras. Some people think it's rude and obnoxious to do that. And when Shedeur said, and this is my analogy, I can only go off how I feel and how I view it. When Shedeur said, you feel me, you'd be lucky to draft me and I could change your program, I thought what he said was true. I just thought how he said it was low-key out of pocket for real. For depending on the crowd. You feel me? When and maybe they should have thought about it a little more, because I think that I think it was a message. I think it was like, yo, because bro, there's so many teams that needed a quarterback. Like regardless of all of the publicity that he shouldn't have got, statistically, above average quarterback, there are a couple teams in the NFL that could definitely use Shedeur. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at it, I think they was like, there's a lot of players that look up to Shedeur. There's a lot of players that look up to Shedeur. There's a lot of players that want to wear they jewelry and have their own podcast and say the shit that they want to say. And I think the NFL looked at it and was like, nah, like, we can't have that. And we got to send a clear message that we don't support that shit. And I think that's what it was, bro, because obviously an above average quarterback in a league where quarterbacks are needed, you're gonna grab one. You just are. Tell me the reason.
There's a difference between confidence and cockiness.
Confidence and cockiness.
There's nothing wrong with necessarily what he said, right? You want to draft me.
But cockiness is only created by people who want you to be humble. There's a certain group of people out there that don't care about being humble.
I think it would benefit him very, very much.
And I think so
for him to learn how to be humble.
And that's where I agree.
Tom Brady, he went up to Robert Kraft and was like, "Hey, I'm Tom Brady. I'm gonna change this franchise around." And it went to him. He didn't go on social media and think he deserved something because he was Tom Brady or because he was good. And he knew that he said, "Mr. Kraft, I'm Tom Brady. This is the best decision you ever made, drafting me." But he didn't go out and say it on social media and flaunt himself in front of everybody. He didn't go and intentionally.
There was no social media.
He didn't go and intentionally.
There was no social media.
If there was, Tom Brady was not posting no videos. No, he was not.
Bro.
That man didn't start posting until he was like 40.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that for the situation, I'm not even gonna say what he should have did. I'm gonna just say what I would do. Cause I hate when people say, "Oh, you should have." For me, bro, if I was in that situation, I would have confidently been very, very humble for me. But I feel like that's because I come from nothing, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like if somebody is supposed to draft me in the first round and I'm supposed to go 6 or 7 or 10th or 11th, and I'm supposed to make $35 million, $30 million from that over the next 4 years, because I come from nothing, I'm gonna treat it different. I'm not gonna give nobody a chance to say shit. and mess up my money. But as somebody who comes from fortune, everybody got problems, but as somebody that comes from fortune, a lot of times, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's this quote, bro, to where it's like they say, you're not supposed to dim your light so that other people feel secure, more secure around you. You're not supposed to do that. But then, like I just said, even me, like I would have probably handled it differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a business move. I mean, I like I said, I hope the best for him. I hope he pans out.
Yeah,
I think
too,
he has a lot to learn, and he's in the best situation in Cleveland, which I know is weird saying. You're like, Cleveland quarterbacks, they die there, but it will teach him how to compete.
Speaking of Cleveland, bro, I want to roll over to a rival that y'all have, and that's your favorite team, the Steelers.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin. He's like the greatest, worst coach right now or something like that. Give me your perspective on Mike, bro.
I think a lot of people are out on Mike. A lot of my friends even, don't like Mike right now because he gets us to the playoffs and then we lose. But I think Mike is still a good coach. I think he has to. It hurts me saying, like, I'm not okay with playoffs and then season over.
When you say he's got to get it done soon, because I feel like the Steelers haven't done a good job in drafting, and I feel like they haven't done a good job in trading, and I feel like they keep going for these, like they left from Big Ben, and I feel like they got a value with Big Ben, so that's the kind of the roadmap that they keep on trying to take.
Yeah.
But what do you think about him? Because I feel like the quarterbacks that they're choosing are not of Steeler pedigree, if you ask me. What do you think about that?
Well, I like our draft, and I'm not trying to be biased here as Ohio State and a Steelers fan, but I'm excited for Will Howard and a year or so under someone who can train him. He's been very vocal about Big Ben, taking him under his wing, and he said he's been getting with Big Ben and training him up, and so hopefully in a year of that or so he'll be ready to make that step. Right now he's got some stuff to get down pat. We have a different style of offense than Ohio State did and what he ran at Kansas State, and so there's going to be some learning curve, but I'm excited. I think that.
Do you keep Mike?
Yeah, we keep Mike.
I think you keep Mike.
The guy hasn't had a losing season. I know everybody's like, well, that's 9-8, and then you lose. But I mean, it's not easy to win
in the
NFL. Right. So, I think we're spoiled in a way.
Just like Ohio State.
Because because we know what a winning culture is now. We haven't necessarily won in the playoffs recently, which is a problem, and we need to start doing that. But I think Mike is still the guy, and we just got to fill in the missing pieces. Now, can we make smarter decisions on our roster and on moves that we make? Yeah, but that's not all Mike Tomlin, and I think he gets a lot of hate for stuff he can't control.
Got you. Okay. I mean, bro, for me, like you said, you like y'all's drafting, but I mean, this might be a year or two. This might be the next year or two where it pops off. Because like I said, I think it's your quarterback play. You got the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, look, y'all compete with the Ravens every year. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that always a tough game for you?
We don't just compete.
Y'all beat them, didn't you?
We beat them usually. Or either that or we trade off.
Yeah, so it's like for them to be one of the number one teams and for y'all to always be competitive against them, I think for me, in black and white, that just says, I mean, football is about matchups, of course.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Steelers' offense is what cripples them against other teams. You know what I mean? Like not being able to throw and having a receiver like George Pickens. It's like if you have a quarterback that can match George Pickens' stature when he's there, I feel like y'all do a lot more with him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like y'all do a lot more with him.
Yeah, that's been a missing piece for a while, I think, in Pittsburgh is the quarterback play, especially since even the last few years have been, but especially since Ben's been gone, not having a steady quarterback, ready for us has been but like I said, Will Howard.
Will Howard.
Will Howard.
I think Will Howard will do good, man. I do.
And for now, it's Mason Rudolph.
Appreciate you, Will. We gotta have you back on the show, bro.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Gotta have you back on the show.
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
I'm DMG Truth. This is JR O'Neal. We appreciate y'all watching. Please make sure y'all like, subscribe, leave a comment for the algorithm. Let me know if I should have JR back.